I know the new year is approaching and you will have a long list of things that you would like to improve, and thereby you will create a long resolution list that you would spend money on, get started with, do it for 15 days, and you know what happens. So the thought is simpler is what if we look at consistency as a love affair? Hi there. Thank you so much for joining me one more time on India's first graphology based leadership show called Absolutely Right with Aditi Surana. I'm your host, a behavioral analyst, a high performance coach, and an anti anxiety expert. Today's conversation is a 10th part series of our anecdotal, small, everyday experiences kind of storytelling. And by the way, it is also our 190th episode, which has been a long journey, guys. Thank you so much for being part of this and the last episode of 2021. So, if I have to leave you with a thought that you can linger on and ponder about and reflect when you're beginning your 2022, then here it is. What if consistency becomes your love affair? I know the new year is approaching and you will have a long list of things that you would like to improve, and thereby you will create a long resolution list that you would spend money on, get started with, do it for 15 days, and you know what happens. So the thought is simpler is what if we look at consistency as a love affair? There is a thing about love affairs, right? You don't want to stay away from the person that you fall in love with. You want to spend as much time as possible. You're curious, you are constantly absorbing when you're in their presence, and when you're not in their presence you keep thinking about them anyways. What if the work that you do, the hobby that you pick up, the thing that you want to be consistent about actually gives you the same connection or emotional feeling? Is it even possible? Hmm, probably it is. Probably it's not. Let me give you an example of being a graphologist. As you already know, it's my passion turned profession. So definitely it began with love affair. But it is not the love affair of falling in love in the beginning, but staying in love. And when I spoke about consistency as love affair, many of our apt mental gym participants absolutely were blown away. They're like, what? Love affair? Are we not supposed to drag our feet and just get things done? Probably not. Probably you're supposed to savor the experience, think about it, actually find your connection with it. I love this line written by Rumi where he says, lovers find secret places inside the violent world where they do transactions with beauty. How beautiful is that? Transactions with beauty. And that's exactly what we do when we fall in love with what we do. We literally walk into the chaotic spaces and find your transaction in that secret place in your heart and absolutely connect with it. The very moment you start looking at your work or some aspects of it, not everything. Obviously, not everything is pleasant, not everything is lovable at times, but probably one or two things that make the journey absolutely worth it. Think about that. If you find that connect with your work, if you have that relationship with one or two things that you're trying to build, trying to experience, trying to achieve, and that love affair can become your fuel to go about all the hardships. So the other day, I was talking to our graphology masterclass students, and these students have learned graphology with me. And it is always a math and art. Graphology as a subject, when you look at handwriting and talk about someone's personality, is absolutely mathematical. This trait plus that stroke plus this behavior actually creates like the black and white formula to understand the person. But it's also a form of art because when you narrate a story like that to someone or you give feedback, you have to understand where the person is coming from. So it's very poetic. And for me, it has always been this symphony, right? Like in your mind. But now that I have this little group of audience who understand the craft of it, the journey is beautiful. And every conversation, all of us look forward to, because this is like a concert that we walk in. Graphology just becomes like a way to understand it, but it's absolute concert. I was in that class last week, and as we spoke about things, as we described the behavior, all of us just melted. And as I was describing the behavior, talking about the person who was one of the participants, he was so open. He actually allowed us to discuss the deepest, the most difficult parts. And when he did that, we absolutely melted away. And in that experience, I realized how much I love this work, how much I look forward to having one more conversation, one more insight, one more layer to a story that I haven't heard before. And having a career, having a podcast, having a community of people who now resonate with that feeling is a boon. So there is no work day. There is every day where you look forward to one more exploration and the nuances, the small things that you fall in love with. I speak about this one point a lot. Small transformations can create big impact. So instead of just trying to achieve all the tasks and targets next year, just ask yourself, what if you claim to be the best possible version of yourself? When you become the flower that is blooming to its fullest, it doesn't matter whether you have a butterfly coming to you or somebody's plucking you to put it in puja, it doesn't matter. You are with yourself doing the best that you can, and the fragrance may reach somewhere or may not. But that's not your job. Your job is to truly claim and be the best possible version. And if you're doing that, my friend, nothing can get to you. Wish you a very, very happy new year. I hope 2022 becomes the most beautiful, learnable, and exploratory year of your life. To play our part in your journey of learning and moving forward and actually having smaller realizations on a daily basis, we are starting a new podcast starting 1st Jan 2022 called Mental Fitbit. The new podcast will have short lessons every single day that you can think about, ponder, and act upon so that you actually, truly become mentally fit and claim the best version of yourself. I am passionate. I'm not leaving any stone unturned to walk on that journey. I'll see you on Wednesday with one more episode of the Absolutely Right podcast. And do check out Mental Fitbit starting 1st Jan 2022. Happy writing.